Hi, Sabotaged Blake here. This is my video guide for the Shooter25 Strat for FNAF 2's 1020 mode. The Shooter25 Strat is an optimized version of the right vent camp strat that uses a timer to maximize consistency. It was first invented by Shooter25 in December of 2021 and was further optimized over time. This guide demonstrates a beginner version of this strat designed for a first completion. This guide also assumes you have already beaten Night 6. I would recommend building a much better understanding of this strat if you want to use it for a challenge like FNAF Lock. If you want to build a better understanding of this strat and the AI of the animatronics, please look at my written guides that can be found in the description. As for the timer, you can use LiveSplit, FNAF timer, or the stopwatch on your phone. All of these will work as long as you can start it accurately at the start of the night. You can start your timer at 0.3 seconds to account for human reaction time. You can also use an auto splitter if you are using LiveSplit, linked in the description. If you are playing FNAF 2 on iOS, use the split up interval timer in the description. Quickly, before I explain the strat, the right vent camp strat revolves around waiting around half a second after each blackout before taking off the mask. This ensures that all vent animatronics except Toy Bonnie will have left, meaning you only have to check the right vent after each blackout. This does not apply to Toy Bonnie's blackouts. Take the mask off immediately after his blackouts. At the start of the night, start your timer. Switch to the puppet's cam and start winding the box. With it, Foxy will enter the hole 5 or 10 seconds into the night. This will be signaled by the FNAF 2 ambience sound. Once Withered Foxy enters the hole, make sure to flash the hallway 1 to 3 seconds before each 5-second interval. If you do not see the flashlight in the hole when you flash, this just means there's movement in the hole. The light will still be effective as usual. Before 20 seconds, flash the hole but do not open the cams afterwards. Wait until 22 seconds on your timer, where you will flash the hole and open the cams to start winding. Then, right after 25 seconds on your timer, drop the cams and put on the mask. This is when we enter the main part of the night and must now discuss scenarios. In 1020, there are mainly 5 scenarios that can happen throughout the night. Each scenario can be dealt with in a specific fashion, which I will explain in this section. Familiarize yourself with all 5 of these scenarios. Whilst these scenarios do not cover all possible gameplay in 1020, they will cover the vast majority of it. Let us return to where we left off at the start of the night. Around half a second after the blackout, take the mask off and check the right vent for Toy Bonnie. If Toy Bonnie is not there, flash the hole and open the cams at 2 seconds on your timer. I suggest holding the flashlight while you open the cams. This will really ensure you flash Foxy properly. Then, wind the music box until 6 seconds on your timer. Once you reach 6 seconds, close the cams and put on the mask. This is the main cycle you will repeat throughout the night. If Toy Bonnie is in your vent after the blackout, wait until 4 seconds on your timer. At this time, flash the hole and put on the mask. After his blackout, take off the mask immediately and wait until 1 or 2 seconds on your timer to flash the hole and open the cams to start winding. The puppet might start leaving the box by this point, but you can hold the camera light down to prevent him from fully leaving. You also don't need to check the right vent after the next blackout, as you have just dealt with Toy Bonnie. Instead, focus on winding the box as much as you safely can. If there is no blackout when closing the cams, take off the mask and quickly check both vents, checking the right vent first and then the left. If Toy Bonnie is in your vent, immediately flash the hole and put on the mask. After his blackout, immediately take off the mask, flash the hole and open the cams to start winding. If there's no blackout when closing the cams, and you find a vent animatronic that is not Toy Bonnie in your vents, then flash the hole and put on the mask at 7 or 8 seconds on your timer. Wait a full 5 seconds with the mask on. This is guaranteed to make all vent animatronics, except Toy Bonnie, leave. After these 5 seconds, take off the mask and check the right vent for Toy Bonnie. If Toy Bonnie is not in your vent, you can flash the hole and open the cams to start winding. Toy Bonnie might also interrupt by starting his blackout while you are dealing with the vent animatronics. If this happens, don't panic. Just take the mask off after his blackout and immediately flash the hole and open the cams to start winding. If there's no blackout when closing the cams and both vents are empty, open the cams and start winding. Before the 10-second interval, drop the cams and immediately flash the hole. There will be no blackout nor golden Freddy here, so it is unnecessary to put on the mask. Then, check the right vent for Toy Bonnie. If Toy Bonnie is not in your vent, flash the hole and open the cams at 2 seconds on your timer to start winding. Because of the possibility of Toy Chica being in your left vent, close the cams and put on the mask just after 5 seconds on your timer instead of 6 seconds. If Toy Bonnie is in your vent, wait until 4 seconds on the timer to flash the hole and put on the mask. After his blackout, flash the hole at 1 or 2 seconds on your timer and open the cams to start winding. In the main cycle of the night, you will be winding the box between 2 and 6 seconds on your timer. However, 10:20 isn't always that simple, and sometimes you will have to play an offset cycle. This table shows all the valid offset cycles you can play in the Shooter25 Strat. While you should always try to stay on the main cycle, all of these cycles will work and are safe. An easy way to remember these is to remember the number on your timer when you last flashed Foxy, and add 4 to that number. That is when you should close the cams. Do not keep track of the milliseconds, because from Foxy's perspective, flashing at 2.2 seconds, for example, is the same as flashing at 2.9. Never close the cams before 5 seconds on your timer, because you can risk a death to Withered Foxy. Also remember that blackout animatronics can force down your cams on 10-second intervals. A big misconception about the Shooter25 Strat is that if your blackouts overlap with Foxy's 10-second intervals, you're automatically safe. This is not true. Winding the box for too long will still get you killed by Foxy after the blackout. This is why it's important to know your offset cycles and to actually know how long you can safely wind for. Here are some examples of offset cycles being used in gameplay. In this clip, I am in scenario 1 and after Toy Bonnie's blackout, the box is very low. Instead of opening the cams at 2 seconds on my timer, I open them at 1 second on my timer, in order to prevent the puppet from leaving the box. I do this on the next cycle as well, so that I can start winding earlier. In this clip, I am in scenario 3, and after dealing with Balloon Boy, it is already 3 seconds on my timer by the time I open the cams. So that I can have a full music box, I wind until 7 seconds on my timer before closing the cams. On the next cycle, however, I close the cams at 6 seconds on my timer in order to get back into the main cycle. I will now show my completion of 1020 using this Shooter25 Strat. Thank you for watching my guide. The Shooter25 Strat is by far my favourite strat for FNAF 2's 1020, and I have countless completions using it. However, this strat hasn't had any good video guides, and there have been many misconceptions and rumours about it since its conception. I hope this guide could help show a modern and optimised version of this strat. If you need any help understanding or learning this strat, you can comment below any questions, or you can find me on Discord. Right now, I'm very active in the official MML server, link in the description. Thank you for watching. This has been Sabotaged Blake.